All right, we are recording. Welcome to Power Hour. It is Monday, the 7th of May. Hope everybody is doing great with their plans. We've got 4 months down, and we've got 8 months to go. So we are at the third of a year mark. We got 238 days left of the year, 127 in. Hopefully everybody is crushing it. So one of the things that I wanted to what we do on Power Hour, we've got some new folks on tonight and new people coming in. Welcome to Tara and David. See them on. Welcome, welcome. Glad y'all are here. They just joined us here a few minutes ago, so that's the group that I was working with. I'm super excited about them, and it's going to be great. Jeff also just recently joining, so that's fantastic. Welcome, welcome. All right. So what we do with Power Hour for the new folks and folks who have been here, maybe forgot, is this is for the people that have just gotten started, that have been launched. If you haven't been launched, we will cut you some slack for the first one so you can attend that one, but make sure you get your launch nailed down. And that's so important for the duplication process on what we do. And then once you get launched, then it's, okay, what do I do next? I've been launched. I heard all the instructions. Now, how do I actually apply all this? And sometimes that can be a little disconcerting because you hear it one time. A lot of times that's not enough. You're going to need to hear some more details around that. And that's what Power Hour's for. It's to get around the campfire, get together with a group of like-minded people, and being able to be able to have a place to get more knowledge, and most importantly, to be able to ask questions. So one of the cool things that we do here is we open it up for questions. If you're just getting started, not quite sure how to do this, how to do that, this is the forum to be able to ask those. So I'm going to first open it up for any questions that anybody might have. Any questions at all you need to do is just unmute yourself and jump on. I'll wait on that. Congrats to Rupali, brand new customer today. I saw that in the feed. That's fantastic. Way to go. Oh, she closed her. Oh, I saw that. Way to go. Good job. Impacting lives. That's way cool. And congrats to Tara and to David for also being their own customers. They've already committed. They're going to make it out to Team Fusion Homecoming. They're going to be making it to the Americas Convention in Orlando. That is absolutely fantastic. Great job to Jamie on brand new distributor as well. I'm looking through and looking at the faces, and you guys are blowing it up. All right, let's see if we got any questions here. All right, somebody's got to have a question for me. There's 31 of y'all on here.
Yes, I have a question, sir.
Yes, sir. What do you got, William?
Yes, actually, I had a guy come to my door, and he's, he was a sprint guy looking to.
Favorite. That's when they just show up. It's so good and easy.
And yes, he
Good to see you, Linda.
I'm sorry. Okay.
He everything he was saying, it seemed like he was coming straight out of the books that we're using as far as getting me to say yes. And it was like, this guy has to be listening to some type of personal development and listening to the same things that we're listening to, because he's looking for the yes answers, getting you to say yes, yes, yes. So he was definitely very good. And we started talking to him, and he showed us a way where we could save probably $100 on our phone bill. But anyways, I was like, yeah, come on in, and so he saw this picture behind me. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, nice. I like that.
And he's like, what is that? So
you poor man.
I know, right?
Here we go.
And he was a super nice young guy. He's went to the Colorado State University, played football for Colorado State, and he's always looking to find ways to make money.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, he was like, my wife, she's a personal trainer, and he said he knows a bunch of guys where he works that would just love this product. I said, that's what I'm getting ready to talk to you about. I said, you keep your options open on earning extra streams of income. And he's like, yeah, definitely. He's like, I just bought a vending machine. Of course I look for extra streams of income.
Nice.
And and it's an energy drink vending machine. So
I just had an idea. What if we could get little sunrise packets in the little spinny thing that causes it to fall down? That'd be cool.
I know, right? and I said, is it refrigerated? And he was like, yeah. I was like, well, you could probably put these in there.
Dude, that'd be pretty freaking slick right there.
Yeah. So I told him a little bit about the product, and he was like, well, how do I make money with it? So I just kind of gave him a quick rundown. I said, we really need to get you on the phone with somebody. He was like, well, the next phone call I want to do is I want somebody to tell me how I'm going to make money with this. So
I got a guy.
Yes.
Text.
Cool.
But yeah, he's, I guess we can get him on with Miles or.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I actually had a chat with Miles and Heidi both today and discussed a couple of things you and I had talked about. And yeah, man, I think that would be a fantastic place to go is that route with Miles.
Outstanding. Perfect.
Yeah. Especially you got somebody that's a shark wanting to make money, and you don't do door to door if you're not a shark. So put them with another shark and let Miles at them.
Definitely. Sounds good.
That's cool. What was the general age range of this person?
Mid to late 20s.
Miles is your man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Awesome.
I like it. Good stuff, William. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Pique their interest, however you got to do it. So replay for everybody. What did he do? First off, William and Linda, they got their why figured out. And by the result of a door knock or a doorbell ring, they added somebody new to their list. And then when that person came in, they built rapport. And then after that, they piqued their interest by the picture you see behind them. What's that? And there's 1,000 ways to pique somebody's interest. And then after that, what did they do? They edified and passed. They didn't sit there and have a 40-minute dissertation where they threw up blueberries all over the poor guy that's trying to sell them some phone service. That's what they did. So that is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. Great stuff, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for the awesome scenario there. That's pretty neat.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We got a question on the chat session. How long do you wait to re-engage someone after you provide edification and they do not respond in Messenger? I don't let it go more than 24 hours. If I know they're a busy person, then I'm not going to blow them up like crazy, but I am definitely going to, keep them warm. I'm going to be reaching out to them and saying, hey, you know what, you told me that you were interested in this. So the edification part, again, for everybody to kind of frame this up is pique the interest or build rapport, pique the interest, and then set up to be able to do the edification to the proof person. And what will happen a lot of times is when you frame all that up, the prospect that was all ready to talk to somebody gets busy. And then when they get busy, our head goes into full-blown panic mode. A lot of times we start coming up with all sorts of scenarios in our head, telling ourselves a bunch of stories about what's going on. Who that is, that's that terrorist I talk about sitting on your shoulder all the time, telling you all the things of why this person hasn't responded yet. You know what? They could have lost their phone. They could have dropped it in the toilet. They could have 8,000 different things could have happened at that point. So don't get too much in your own head. Well, they're not interested. There's another one that's not interested in this thing. Don't do that. Just simply think, hey, you know what? Something may have happened. So if that's the case, hey, what's up, Cash? Good to see you, buddy. So what you want to do is keep them warm. Give them a little time on that, but definitely keep the pressure on it. Some people say, well, I don't want to bug anybody. Don't go that range either. What you're bringing to them is something that they need to be bugged about, okay? You will be at a point, if you're not yet, and you feel concern in bugging people about this. Grant Cardone says it extremely well. He says, I feel sorry for you. I just didn't realize you didn't have a product that you felt so strongly about that you wanted to get it out to everybody's, into everybody's hands right away. I'm sorry you don't feel that strongly about your product. All it comes down to is a belief level. Do you have belief in what it is that you've got going on? If that's the case, then yeah, blow them up on it. And if they say, why are you bugging me with it? Because it's that damn important that I got in touch with you. We're talking some important things here. And so, having that having that, if people say, I don't want to be pushy, you got a belief problem there. You're not being pushy. You're not being pushy. And if they consider that, that's on their side. That's their issue. And set them straight and let them know why you're being pushy, why you care about them enough, why you're reaching out to them enough for this. And that usually diffuses any situation that might arise. All right. I saw a hand go up on Scooter. Did you have something, sir? Still muted. I got you now.
I had a couple conversations with several distributors today, and something came up about the communication that I think a lot of people are misunderstanding. Communication is 90% ears, not the mouth. Mm-hmm. Because there are so many people that are out there that are insecure about what they're doing. They have, like you said, they're not committed. Their belief level is not high enough. So a lot of times when their prospects are talking to them, all they're hearing is blah, 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 and they're waiting for silence so they can speak. The most valuable part of the communication of all of us, you, me, all of the distributors that are talking to our people, is to truly listen to what they're telling you. Because they will tell you everything that you need to know about how to fix their problem without them telling you what their problem is, per se. So I told two different distributors like that today, and they looked at me like I had, two heads, and they said, I never thought about that. Yep. Which I just wanted to share that with a lot of these guys that are bucking heads with people that aren't real good communicators. You're right. They get busy. They drop their phones. Their kids lose their phone, just like their keys. So there's a lot of different things that take place. But understand that if your communication is dead on, answering the actual questions that they're asking to be answered, then you're right. It's just a matter of giving them that little bit of time and just touching base with them, because there's a lot of different things happen. But the point that I'm making is their communication needs to be more 90% based upon their ears, not their speaking.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. No, that is a powerful, powerful thing that Miss Brian Pinso just said, and that's coming from a guy that's been there, done that, and has got the T-shirts to prove it. This gentleman owns 5 different businesses, folks, and he just gave you some key piece of information, and I'll summarize it like so. You got 2 of these, 1 of those. Use it in the appropriate ratios. Yeah, that's spot on. I appreciate you sharing that, and it's a good reminder, and I appreciate that. That's a really good reminder for everybody. When you're doing this, it's not about you being the commercial. It's not about you being the billboard. It's not about you being the radio advertisement. It's not about you throwing up blueberries all over the person. It is about finding out. I guess it's been a while since I've done it, but I don't get why I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I'm not sure if it's let me just get this out as quick as I can and then get back to myself. But there's going to be time. There's going to be plenty of time to speak with the person that you're speaking with. Let the other person go first. Let them get it all out. Now, after 3 or 4 hours of it, that them getting it out and they still aren't asking about you, you might be figuring something out about the person you're dealing with, that they're all in it for themselves and they're not interested in helping other people. And then you can decide what you want to do with that. Those people, I let them be customers. I don't reach out to them as business partners, because what I'm looking for people that are showing me the traits of servant leadership. They're showing me the traits of they like helping people. Now, do I want them to get something out of it? Yes. Do I have any problem if somebody wants to make money in this thing? Not at all. Not one bit. But I do want to see that there is a concern for the other guy, that there is that level of reciprocity that's visible in them. If they are takers, there's 2 types of people in the world. There's givers and there's takers. And then you got to decide which ones you want to work with. I'm a much bigger fan of working with the givers than I am with the takers. Now, there's always a give and take. Don't get me wrong. But what's the predominant bent? What's the predominant slant of this person? How do they operate? And that's one of the things I'll determine on if I'm going to work with somebody. Don't ever forget, folks, you've got full ability to choose who you get to work with in this one. Okay? Where you work for a living, if you don't own your own business, chances are you're stuck with people that you might not have been so keen on hiring them or working with them if you had a choice. You got a choice. So don't go at bringing somebody in just because they might be able to do this, that, or the other. Are they the type of people that you want to be working with 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years from now? Do you want to be associated with these people? Because the organization that's being built right now, I promise you, mark my words on this as a guy that's been doing this for a while. What you're building right now, this type of group, this type of unit, this is a unit, this is a group that will stick around in one form or another in fashion with these relationships that are being built. And there's going to be times where we're going to be on beaches or on cruises or on airplanes or boats or whatever and say, you remember when we first got those power hours started? You remember when we did that 20 years ago? Damn, you're getting old. So those are going to be conversations that we're going to have a long time from now. So make sure you're bringing the right people to the table and definitely do some listening to them. All right, great points, great points. There's a question on here. We wipe our tears of joy away with a $100 bill. That's right, Miss Sarah. I like it. All right, there was a question I followed up with the guy I asked about. I said, you said the other day you would go as far as to work with the mafia, and you won't even hear about the opportunity I have. What happened? And he read it, and he didn't respond. So he definitely read it, so you know he saw it, and he didn't respond. And the fact that he didn't respond, unless he got ran over at that exact moment that he read it, I would reach out to him and I'd say, I see you lurking over there. I see that you read it and you didn't reply. I'm going to give you the last benefit of the doubt to see if you'll respond to me. And if you see him read that one and not reply, then I would say, okay, you're a dumbass. We're not talking anymore. Or whatever you feel appropriate to be able to send him, but that might just be what I would send him. I don't know. So when people act all boisterous and talk a lot of trash up front, and then they won't even look at something and then they'll hide, my wife tells me a lot of times I don't need to save the world, but I feel like I at least need to feel better. And that makes me feel better when I call those people out and call them a dumbass. So that's me. Maybe that's a racket I'm doing. I don't care. I like it. So that's me. That's what I would do. Okay, let's see here. And Miss Sarah's got something that's probably a whole lot more PC than what I am. And she's logged in with my same ID. So if you see Casey Salgi typing that, I didn't type all of that. We're both in on the same account because she had me covered the other night. But she offered, hey, Blink, I haven't heard from you, so I'm assuming you're no longer interested, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and cross you off the list. If you're still open, let me know. Otherwise, let's catch up soon. That's called leaving a bridge. And what I talked about is blowing the bridge up with C4. Her way is probably a whole lot better, all right? I just get to a certain point where I'm done with the bridge building with this guy. I'm going to explode it because I don't want to talk to you anymore. Now, that's not a good viewpoint long term. We could have a chance of being able to help that guy. We might be able to get him moved around. We might have another chat with him, and he might hear what he needs to hear. Or, as she said, it's just another option. Absolutely. Or it could be us coming in and blowing it up and call him a dumbass might get him to think about what he's been doing all these time, and maybe that'll be the thing that kicks him out. So that's why I tell everybody, go with your gut. Go with what you think is appropriate, and that's the right answer. That is absolutely the right answer that comes back with him. Okay? All right. Good stuff. I like it. Yes, sir, Mike. What you got, sir?
So maybe his mom gets sick next week and he remembers the product that we had might help her.
That's it. That's it. Everybody's life changes every 90 days or so. I talk about that all the time. I say it tonight too. Every 90 days, things are different. Think about your life right now. Think about how it's been, and think about if it's changed any in the last 90 days. Chances are there's probably a lot that's happened in the last 90 days. Me personally, I found out I'm going to be a dad again, and I got a little boy on the way. So, yeah, that's a little different. That's cool. So pretty excited about that. But, yeah, everything's changing all the time. Everything's changing all the time. So, leave that bridge open if you feel that the bridge needs to be open. Blow that damn thing out of the air if you think it needs to be blown out of the air. But do what works for you. That's another thing. Do you. Go with your gut. There's a process that we follow, but I cannot and I will never tell you to abandon your gut. go with what your gut says. It's there for a reason. All right. Process is process. This is what we're going to do. There are exceptions to a process. Now, if it's a good process, there are very few exceptions. And I will say that our process has very, very, very few exceptions to it. All right. But always, 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 my best advice is go with your gut. Okay. These are some good questions, a little different than normal. I like these. What else do we have? Who's got some questions for me? Yes, Nora, what you got?
I went to Walmart a little while ago,
The
Walmart I used to work at, and I was talking to one of the customer service managers. Well, actually, I was talking to two of them, and they're both upset because they're starting to cut back hours and messing around with their shifts and making demands that they're getting upset with. But one of them is vegetarian. Okay. So my question was, is the salmon in all the products?
No, just the Sunset.
Just the Sunset?
Yeah. The other two are vegan. They're good to go from a vegan perspective on Sunrise and Nitro. The fish oil is definitely from animals, from fish.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That wasn't a question because I wanted to approach him, but I wanted to make sure there was vegan options.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
The other thing I would do, just because I can't let that stand without saying anything about it, when somebody is saying those things, they are telling you that they are upset and they are filling out the little clipboard from the doctor's office that says it hurts here, 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 and here, and that's specifically around the money side of things. And one of the ways that you might be able to pique them is, hey, do you see that changing anytime soon where they're going to start giving you everything that you should have coming from them? Or do you see this trend continuing? That's a way of asking the questions when you know the answer and you know where it's going to go, and you keep asking those questions. They're rhetorical in nature because you know what the answer is, but you get them to frame it up. I cannot tell you the things that are obvious to you about somebody else are typically blind from the other person. Yeah. They do not know. We all have blind spots. We have these areas in our lives that we have no idea that it's even happening. And a lot of times we feel reluctant to point that out to the other person when that would be the greatest thing for the other person if we were to actually mention that and mention it in a way that they know that we care about them. You want to know how to change the world? You reach out to people when you see something that they don't see and you point it out to them, and you do it with love. They got to trust you first. And if they trust you, you can do that. And if you do that, you can change the world at multiple levels. It starts out with a little piece of spinach in somebody's teeth.
Yeah, well, I used to be his boss when I first transferred to this store in 2008. And he was going to college, and he got his degree in business, but he continued with Walmart. And I kept telling him, what are you still doing here? You know? And he said, I don't know. So today when we were talking, you know, I thought of that. So, yeah, I'm going to make another trip to the store and talk to him, you know, because I don't have his phone number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he'd be really good.
Cool. Couple things out of that. On the thing I was talking about stuck in the teeth, did you hear what I said on that?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you're going to him on that, make sure he knows that you're not doing it to point out that you're right and he's wrong.
Oh, no, of course not.
Everybody said that. That's not just for you, that's for everybody. But yes, absolutely. And then the other part on that is anytime, this for everybody, it's very easy to have a conversation with somebody and not walk away with communication with them, not having a way to get in contact with them. And this is a really good little tip that I want to share with everybody that they can use to never walk away from a conversation without getting their contact information again. What I do is when I finish up with them, I say, you know what? I really enjoyed our conversation today. I really enjoyed our conversation today. I like keeping up with people that interest me. Would it be okay if I got your contact information?
Okay.
So you're paying them a compliment. Make sure it's sincere. Don't ever give a compliment unless it's sincere. They'll know. If you had a conversation about the weather, then it's probably going to be awkward asking for their number. But if you had a good conversation, and the stuff that you were talking about will make a good conversation because it's meaningful and it's about them, then they'll most likely give that to you. And then you got a good way of being able to get back to them and staying in contact with them. When you do that, and this for everybody, when you get somebody's number, schedule it in whatever you use to schedule your day. Now, some of you are going to say, Casey, I don't have a scheduler. I don't have a planner. I don't operate that way. I just handle the day as it comes to me. That's cool. No problem. I promise you, you're not going to be successful doing it that way. You might get lucky, but you're going to fall off and you won't be able to maintain that. The people that are going to blow it up in the world are doing it by specific determination on what they're going to achieve. They're going to plan out their day. They're going to make that happen. So have a way. If you don't have a way, no problem. You can fix that. Have a way to be able to plan out how you're going to go about your week, your day, at least your day, but better yet, your week and your month and your year. Have a way that you can do that and schedule that. And then don't be necessarily a slave to your schedule, but make sure that you don't let anything fall by the wayside. If you build that habit and you keep up with those people like you say you're going to, that will mean a lot to them that you reached out. Remind them about why you're calling. Have a way when you copy down their information, jot a little note about them, just 1 or 2 sentences. You don't have to do War and Peace and write a book about how you know this person or what it's all about, but have a little key thing. If you can get a name of a family member, or you can get a name of a dog, or just some little fun fact about the person, write that down. And write that down so it's right next to their phone number. And the best way that I found to do that is right here in my phone, underneath contacts, there's a notes section in your contact, and write a little something about that person so that you can then have that conversation. Is it easy to do? Yes. Is it easy not to do? Yes. But it's those little differences, it's those little details compounded over and over again, 4 or 5 of those a day, and have a fine way of being able to keep in touch with them and keep that happening and keep that happening. You will be absolutely amazed at how much your business grows by doing that. But it's also easy not to do. And it's very easy to not be amazed at how little your business is growing because those little details are overlooked. But it makes all the difference in the world to the other person. Now, here's why we don't do it. Because it's easy not to do, and it's not about us. And when it's not about us, it's easy not to do. So do that for the other person, stand up for that other person so that you can have a better connection when you reach out to them, and you keep doing that. And that's gardening. That's gardening 101, tilling, making sure you're nurturing what you've planted already instead of going out, planting seeds. They get burned up in the sun and they die because they didn't get any nurturing with any water or any shade.
Also, Mr. Salji, I wanted to chime in here real quick.
Yeah.
So with the whole exchanging contact info, and also Casey, it says Casey Salji because I thought you needed backup. When it was 9:05, I was like, I don't think Casey's ever been late to anything in his life. It must be something bad. So then I logged out as Sarah and logged in as you. And we logged in at the same time.
I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Anyway, so I'll just be pseudo Casey today. With exchanging contact info, I think it's also important. Well, something that's worked for me a lot is people like to be given something instead of to give up something. So if they don't feel comfortable giving up their info, I say, here, let me go ahead and give you my contact info. And I have them enter, and I say, okay, go ahead and shoot me a text with your first and last name. And always, I can't think of one time that didn't work, because their contact info obviously is going to come with a text. But the fact that I said, here, I want you to go ahead and have my contact info, my personal number, in case you ever need anything. So go ahead and enter it. And this is maybe at the end of a PBR, and it's like a taproot, or if it's a prospect of a prospect, maybe cold market, a little bit different. And what Casey Salji was just saying was perfect as far as just asking, would it be okay if I got your contact info? But just saying, let me give you my number so that if you ever need anything, you can contact me. And after they enter it, hey, could you go ahead and shoot me a text with your first and last name so I could save you? They do it right then and there. And you're not like, who the heck is this when they're calling? Right? There's so many different ways, but that's just something that's been super effective for me.
I like that. And folks, you're seeing 2 very successful people in this organization giving you a couple of different ways to do things. So hopefully you're going to find one that's going to work for you. And I'll say it now, Power Hour. It's called Casey Salgy's Power Hour, but it's not just mine. It's our whole team coming in, bringing a lot of great stuff. I'm going to give you my opinion, and then you can use that, or you can say, Casey is full of it. This doesn't work. It might not work for you. That's okay. Find the thing that's going to work for you, and that's what this is all about. I'm sharing a lot of different ideas. So thank you, Miss Sarah. I appreciate that, and thank you for being my backup as well. I definitely appreciate that. And don't know if you know this or not, but if you look over and you see Tara Bush and Mr. David on the screen, they were sitting behind you on Sunday at the Landmark Forum. Yes, he just took the forum as well.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. So good. Casey, did you go on Sunday?
I didn't. I wasn't there for that one.
Okay, because I'm just like, you were just lighting it up on fire. So I was like, he's carrying something. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. It was so powerful. All right. I'll get too excited.
Very cool. All right. Next up, we've got, let's see here. Stevenson, my mail lady brought Ed's auto ship to our door today. And she said, I bought one of these to you on Friday also. I said, yes, ma'am. Started talking complete nutritional product line. I told her she would be bringing them monthly. And she said, hey, after you've been on it a couple of months, let me know how it's going. And I might be interested in it. That is awesome. Very cool. Good job on that, on being able to have a conversation with somebody. What I would do on that is next time you see them is say, hey, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do you one better. I've been doing some looking on this thing, and there's actually a group that I'd love to be able to get you to take a look at, because it's got people that have been on this thing for months and months and years. Are you on Facebook? And they're going to most likely say yes. And if not, tell them to get make a fake account just for this, or copy some things over. But get them into Wellness Simplified so that will continue the process, and you don't have to. They're looking for proof. She said, let me know after a couple of months on how it is working for you. That means that's not what she's saying is not what she needs. What she really needs, said a different way, is she needs proof that this works for people. And if it does, then she might be interested in trying it out. So when you reach back out to her, you say, I'll do you one better. I got a group that you need to look at that's got years upon years of information on 66,000 different people that are in this group talking about what it's done for them. Take a look at this Wellness Simplified. Let me add you to that. And if you are interested, it's got a money-back guarantee. So she's got it in her head probably that she's got to pay for something because she's the one delivering it to you, and that doesn't just show up for free. So she's not thinking about it being money-back guarantee or anything like that unless you talk to her. But that's what I would do with her on following up. You got somebody that's interested, reframe it for them. They've got it. They're going – people, what do we always say? People don't say no to what we do. They say no to what they think they have to do when they say yes. That goes for the business side, and it goes for the product side. So on the product side, she's thinking, she has it in her head that there's a process that's going to have to be followed, that she's going to have to order it. If she's going to do that, it's going to be expensive. If it's going to be expensive, I don't want to waste money on it. I want to see what somebody else has done. Guess what? She's looking for testimonies of what this has done for people. She doesn't know how much it's going to cost. She doesn't have those things. So I'm doing a lot of assumptions and a lot of extrapolation here, but
so tomorrow I will watch I can hear her when she goes by my office, and I'll go out because we have community boxes in our neighborhood, and I'll run out and ask her if I can add her on it so she could see it. I had another interesting conversation over the weekend. I talked to my lady that bakes our cakes for different occasions, and I hadn't talked to her in a couple of years, and she was like, oh my God, I just went through an aggressive breast cancer. I got it. I'm in remission. My mom just died in November, basically starved to death. She said, can you tell me more about your nutritional stuff? And I said, absolutely. And she said, well, I'll be gone till the middle of next week working on our lake home, but I'd like to learn more. But the one question she asked me on the phone was, so had I had this product when my mom was unable to eat because the tumor was on her stomach or something and she just couldn't eat, she said, would this been enough nutrients that she would have been okay without any food? And I was like, I don't know. I'll have to ask that question.
I would say yes, they could absolutely get that in the system. It can be done through a feeding tube. If you ever see the Guile video, the poor little guy, same spot and couldn't eat and was fed through a feeding tube. And so they actually had the guys going through that, and that was helping him tremendously and allowed for a very big recovery that he experienced. So I would say, look, everybody's different, but yeah, chances are very, very high. It's a what if at this point, obviously, but chances are very, very high that yes, this could have helped.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
No, you're very welcome. Good stuff. Tell Ed, keep tearing it up. He's on the phone, going. I love it.
He's in the background talking to one of his groomsmen from our wedding.
Good.
Many years ago, but yeah, he's working on it right now.
Love it. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Thank you, Alicia. All right. Next question. I know some vegans that have made exceptions and will take the entire triangle of health. I also recently transitioned to being vegan, but will always take my triangle. Absolutely. That brings up, I'm going to reframe this one as well. When people say something, feel free to reframe their understanding. It's called influencing. Somebody says something, don't tell them they're wrong. Tell them, I hear what you're saying. Here's a different way. What about this? Let's try this one on. And I say a couple of those things to kind of get their head ready for, I'm getting ready to throw something different at you. Get them to have it seen through a different lens. That's what it's all about, to get outside of yourself, to get into other people's realm, to get into their world, put yourself in their shoes, get yourself thinking the way they're thinking, or to get them out of the way they're thinking so that they'll see something different. If you can do that, you can change the world. That's what it's all about, is reframing that. It's about, and you'll hear it said different ways, standing for the other person. It's got a lot of different terms. Let me mute everybody here. Some feedback going on. All right. So what it's all about is not just answering their question. Give them the answer to their question, but do it in such a way that you get the point across on what you're trying to make. What is that point you're trying to make? Well, it depends. It depends on the situation, but most likely they've got something in their head and they're going down a certain path. And they don't know about this path until you illuminate it for them. Find the right language to be able to do that. A great way of doing it is through questions. Asking them questions that you have a pretty good understanding of what the answer is going to be, or at least in a certain path that you want to be able to take them. They mentioned something about their job sucking, then ask them some questions about their job sucking so they'll keep talking about how bad it is. All right? Get that clear in their head that, you notice the last 4 things you told me is how bad you don't like your job. Am I hearing you right? Yeah, it sucks. Well, let me ask a better question. How long are you going to keep doing that? Well, what else am I going to do? I'm glad you asked. I've got something you might be interested in. I got a guy that can fix that for you. They're talking about their health. Ask more questions about their health. You're saying that you got some problems with this, blood pressure and cholesterol, and you can't sleep, and what else you dealing with? Anybody else dealing with those health issues? How long you been dealing with that? Anything working? Doctor's just giving you a whole bunch of prescriptions that you don't want to take? Okay, cool. How long are you going to keep doing that? Do you want to change that? Oh, you do? And you're interested? Why am I asking? Glad you asked. I've got something you'd be interested in. It's about reframing what they're looking for, get it back around in the direction that you want to take the conversation. Now, if what I'm saying, you're like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Well, then you got to work on that. That's one of the areas you want to work. Start with some questions around a very simple acronym called FORM, F-O-R-M. Just start asking questions about family. Start asking questions about occupation. Start asking questions about recreation. Start asking questions about motivation. Those are where you can get some really cool conversations going. You can get deep in there. What do you do for motivation? What do you mean? They're not used to that type of question. How do you want to put your dent on the universe? Are you doing everything that you want to be able to leave a legacy here? Or, is getting up same time every day, going to work, doing the same thing over and again, is that what you're looking to do forever? And see what they say. See where the conversation goes. These are questions. This is like a doctor sitting with a patient trying to figure out why they're here. Why are you having this conversation? Where does it hurt? I'm not sure, doc. It just hurts. Okay, well, that's not helping me any. Let's ask some better questions. Does it hurt here? No. Does it hurt here? Yes. Oh God, don't do that. That hurts. Okay, great. Now we're getting some information. We're getting somewhere. That's how you start off with FORM, with form, asking about that. And keep digging with those questions until you can write down on their chart, here is their problem. This is where it hurts. It's either going to hurt in the money bucket, it's going to hurt in the time bucket, it's going to hurt in the health bucket, in the beauty bucket, or in the contribution bucket. One of those 5 things are probably not perfect in their world. If it is, good on them. Great. Stay in contact with that person. They're going to be looking to be able to talk to people like you down the road if they got all that solved. Okay. Any questions or comments?
I want to piggyback on that unless someone has a specific question.
Go ahead.
I think in addition to that, a major misconception is that people have to be hurting in order to become a prospect. And that's not true. As a matter of fact, on the Monday night call just now that actually has been posted, there were technical difficulties, but we were able to record it. I hosted this success series about an hour ago. And on that call was this really sharp couple under the Thornhills, and they own 7 businesses, and they have 7 kids, and they hit Ruby in 5 months. And I'm just saying that the caliber of people we have here, oftentimes you don't even have to reach out because they have a pain point. They happen to because it was health, but you didn't, like, for example, there's an individual. So for those of you who know, I'm in the dance community. I used to be on the dance team, and there's this instructor who's in Fort Worth, Texas. I've never talked to her in person in my life. We've been Facebook friends for over a year. All I know is she's an influencer. And so instead of spending 2 weeks to find out her life story, I just straight up reached out to her. I said, hey, Amanda, how's it going? She goes, hey, Sarah. And I said, hey, we didn't get to meet in person, but I used to be in the Dallas dance community. Now I live in Houston. She's like, that's awesome. And I just said, are you teaching a class right now? She goes, just finished. I said, awesome. And then I switched over from text, sent her a video message, something new that I'm trying that's been extremely effective because when people can see your face and hear your voice, sent her a video message in less than a minute. And I said, hey, Amanda, I want to reach out because my sister and I were building a network marketing company, and we market a natural health supplement that's helped a few of my dancer friends feel amazing because they were dealing with aches and pains and inflammation. And it made me realize that the dance community could really use this. I'd love to see them benefit from it. And I know that you're really respected in the dance community, and that you're really influential. So I wanted to see if you'd be open, if I could send you some resources. Maybe you'll find some personal value in it. Otherwise, you could pass it on to someone that you think could help. Let me know if it's something you're open to, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, I'd love to hear your story and whatever. So, and then again, I've never met her in person. All I know is that I have a specific intention to share Kyanie with her, so I'm not going to fake form with her, right? There's that kind of balance of how long do I need to form? If you already have an explicit reason why you want to share the business, go for it. If you have 0 reason why you can reach out to them, then that's when you form. But if someone has a strength, right, you guys always know that if you've been on one of my trainings for forming, you form until you find their signs, strength, interests, goals, and needs. Really just look for a strength or a need. If they have a strength, you can just go for it. And guess what she responded? Yeah, I'm totally open. Send me some resources. I'm making everywhere, right? And so you also save a lot of time. And if someone's super sharp, you don't have to wait to figure out if there's a time. Because the reality, every single person on this planet either needs more time, better health, more money, or better relationships. So if you just ask if they're open to even taking a look at something, they're going to match it up on their own. Does that make sense? So I just found that it's expedited a lot of things in addition to forming and continuously filling up the pipeline with forming. Did that land with anybody, that you can just be direct with a lot of people? Yes. Okay, so that's just something I wanted to add. If you have a specific reason why to reach out with someone, go for it right off the bat, because otherwise they're going to be thinking at the back of their own head, okay, what does this person want? So people appreciate it when you're direct, you're upfront, and you don't waste their time, especially if you're like Casey, who has a family, who has a business, who has a full-time job. He's like, come on, tell me what's the point. We call it bluff, bottom line up front. That's how you should always speak with people, because Simon Sinek talks on that. He said that if he gets a message from somebody and they're like, hey, Simon, long time no talk, really would love to catch up. Oh, and by the way, we're running a new campaign. I know you have a lot of influence on social media, so if you could share our campaign, that'd be awesome. Simon's thinking, okay, this person had no concern really for how I'm doing. They just wanted to leverage my social media. versus if they just switched the order and said, hey, Simon, I want to reach out because we're launching a campaign. I know you're a big influencer on social media, so if you could share, that'd be awesome. By the way, would love to grab coffee and catch up sometime. They were straight up in their intention, and they were upfront with their bottom line, meaning like, what do they want? And then it leaves a space for authentic conversation, right? So it's the same thing when you're inviting people. But I don't want to go off on a tangent, but it's just something that's been really, really helping our group in just cutting to the chase, because what doesn't feel good is fake forming, right? And
definitely on the rapport, you're not just, and I want to clarify my statement on how that fits on what I've been training on and teaching on, because I want to be real clear on that. I'm not talking, and I don't believe Ms. Sarah's talking about a shotgun approach where you're just going out and blasting everybody with a bunch of nonsense. She is building a relationship with that person. She has common interests, and she's going out right away, and she is making an assumption that this person is dealing with this. That's when you know you're done with what I call the rapport step. You know that you got a check mark in the box based on some type of information. She has it in her head, Sarah has it in her head, that her prospect is interested in being able to do this because it would fit in that community. So she is being direct with what she's doing. And that is a very, very powerful, and that's how I operate as well. I'm going to go straight to it. I'm going to tell you exactly why. What I heard you say, or what I think you're dealing with, is this. Are you interested in what it is I'm doing? If they are, cool. And they were. So she still built rapport. She still piqued their interest. She just did it in 14 seconds and not in 14 days. And that's, I think, the main point there. So it's not go out and let me just blast everybody without having any idea, because that's what she was talking about with the other one, is don't come in here not having any concern about what's in it for me. Because I don't care who you are. I don't care what anybody says. When you do that, you might get lucky and line up with 1 in 1,000 that are interested in what it is you happen to be throwing out there that day. But that would be the only reason. So you got to find out what they're interested in and check with them. And that's what she said. Would you be interested in this? She comes back. Heck yeah. What do you got? Boom. And then she gets into it. So it's still the same process. It's just coming at it from a direct perspective instead of an indirect perspective where you're asking a whole lot of questions and kind of doing this little slow bait type thing. That's perfectly fine in certain circumstances, depending on. But yeah, no, that's a really good idea. The other big thing I got out of that was doing a video over to them. That's a really cool idea.
Yes, big time. Actually, I don't know if Colton's on the call. Colton Provenza, I don't think so, but I seriously, so how I came across that, and this is just going to be real quick, is that on my birthday, you know, you guys know how social media is, you get hundreds of messages. And so I think that there's probably still hundreds in my inbox I haven't even seen or responded to, because I was like, oh, I don't have time for that. But one person sent a video message instead of happy birthday and just like typing it, and just seeing his face and hearing his voice, I was like, that was so personal. And it was so effective. And why is Zoom so awesome? It's for the same reason. And so just to let you guys know that if it's something you guys want to start testing out, when you record it on Facebook, like straight on Messenger, it only allows up to 15 seconds. So what I've been doing is I record the video from my phone, like from the camera in my phone. I keep it under a minute, and then I just send that like you send a picture on Facebook Messenger.
And then you have the chance to, okay, that didn't work. That was bad. Let me delete that.
Yes. And it's seriously, I think I used to train voice recording a lot on Messenger, because to me it was like the perfect blend of old school traditional network marketing, where they get to hear your sincerity and hear your voice, hear your enthusiasm, because there's no number of exclamation points that can replace this. Mm-hmm. And it allows for new people to think on what to say next, because it's still the Messenger format. But now this is a step further, where they get to see your face, hear your voice, and you get to record it and watch it before you send it. It's so good. And like every 10 out of 10, I've been getting a really positive response. Even if they're not open, they are happy to get referrals, because they could feel my intent is coming from a place of servitude. And you can't really get that from text.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
It takes more courage for sure. But I totally would encourage that.
Love it. Mr. Mike, what you got?
Comment on that, and then a question for Suedo Casey. I actually do my Facebook new friends greeting. I did a quick YouTube, like under a minute. and send that instead of typing, hello, nice to meet you. And that's kind of cool. It's gotten a pretty good response.
Nice.
And then my question is, younger people, okay, you know, as you put a few years on, you've got to have an issue or two that the product's going to help you with. Obviously, I know athletes, it's a peak performance thing. But if you're talking to a 20-something hostess, where does she see herself going with the product or the business, as far as a target market or what would her hook be?
Sure, and it's funny because we just talked about this on the women's call on Wednesday, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, that is also broadcasted inside of Team Fusion Team Fusion Official. And someone asked, how do you build as a millennial? And I've gotten that question a few times, and it's the exact same. You just find out what that millennial wants. The majority, they don't want to work 40 hours a week for the next 40 years of their life just to retire on 40%, right? The whole 40-40-40 club. So they're very open to something that's different. They're very open to things that are not under the reign of a boss. They like freedom and residual income and every lifestyle. To me, when I started building this in college, I could care. I'm just gonna be honest. I could care less what the product was. I just saw James Bradford make like $200,000 in a month, and I was like, what? And it was crazy. And I was in, and then the product testimonials were what kept me around. But what got me was the income potential and just the people having success stories. So just like mad social proof is what exploded Team Fusion. This is also back when we could post paychecks on Facebook and back when we could post like product testimonials everywhere. It was like so not compliant, but at the time it was irrefutable that people were winning. And no matter if you're young, if you're old, if you have health issues or not, people are attracted to a team that's winning. So that's why we've created these Facebook groups for you to really leverage that. And social media is also really big with millennials. So making sure that you're plugging them into that. So, to answer your question, the business side really is what drew me and what I see drawing a lot of people. But again, millennials are big on energy drinks and coffee. So they have found when I was building a college team, a lot of them loved the products too, especially for pre-workout.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then another thing is, that sunrise, if you've got a younger group, maybe they might be having more parties than anybody else. Next morning, I promise you that sunrise will help matters tremendously for getting over what they might have done to themselves the night before. And that's not just for millennials. It's pretty much timeless. So, all right, Ms. Tara. You've got a question. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
So I have a question.
David, yes, sir.
So is there any dietary restraints on people taking the product? I know I'm asking a new question.
No, it's good. That's what it's for, man. You're at the perfect spot. There is no question where somebody's going to say, oh, my God, why did you ask that? No. That's what this is for, so that's perfect. As far as dietary, I tell people, if you don't have a problem walking through the produce section of HEB, then you don't have a problem with what it is that we've got here.
Okay.
Now, everybody's chemistry is different. So again, we got to be careful on that side of things, but have them take a look at the ingredients that are on it. We've also got a document that's out there. And when Ms. Sherry does y'all's launch, she'll show you where that document's at. And it's a breakdown of all the products and the components that are in it. So that they can look at it, and it's written up in a nice way that can be used for somebody wanting to show this to their nutritional person or their doctor, or them maybe having some issues. The other thing I tell people is when they say, well, I got to get this checked with my doctor, I have them, again, reframe that question and not say, no, let's do it this way. Find out specifically what your doctor says you shouldn't take, and let's see if it happens to line up on this little page right here. Or if they say, well, I'm not sure what's in it, I can't tell you if you should take this or not. Better yet, doctor, why don't you tell me what it is that you're so afraid of me taking, and I'll make sure it's not on this list. And what that will hopefully do is get the prospect / doctor's patient, whatever, to be able to see that, hey, guess what? Again, and we talked about this last night, I get shot, I want a doctor. Now, when I want to know about what type of food to put in my body, I don't need to talk to a doctor. I need to talk to a nutritionist. And doctors go through like 6 hours of nutrition study, and that's it. So they're asking the wrong. I don't go to my mechanic on my Mercedes to ask him how my dishwasher works. Does he have an idea? Probably, because he's a mechanic. That's great. Wonderful. But you're not my damn dishwasher person. I need a plumber. I don't need a car mechanic. So same type of thing. Make sure you get them to reach out to the right person.
Another question I had was marketing tools, things of that sort. Is that provided on the web on our website?
It is. The biggest thing that you have from a marketing tool is you've got your team. You've got the Wellness Simplified that we talked about when you guys get your Facebook account re-enabled or set up for that. That's going to be your biggest place that you're going to send them. And the other place that you're going to send them is to Sherry or myself or somebody on the team. That's the only thing that they need to know. That's all that's going to happen. Nothing else is going to exist. And it's really easy when you get into these power hours is you're going to get overwhelmed with so much information. But when it comes back to it, the key thing of what we're going to be doing here is you're simply going to build rapport, find out what they want. You're going to pique their interest, and then you're going to point. You're going to point to proof. That proof is going to be done by Wellness Simplified, or it's going to be done by a senior business partner. And then we'll be able to then send them where they're going to go after that. And that'll be to your webpage. If you go to your new webpage that we just got you signed up on, you can look on there, and there's videos and a lot of different things that are out there. But you're not going to send them there. You're going to send them to us. You're going to let us get on with them, and then we'll get them to that once we've inoculated them.
Perfect.
All right. And I'll finish with saying this. The reason that we do that is because if you send them the information right away, there's a very good chance that when they see that information, they're going to make a knee-jerk reaction based on their experiences in the world, what they've heard, what they think they know that they don't know a damn thing about. And when they do that and they get a hold of the information, they're going to dismiss it, and they're going to go about their normal day because they know everything there is to know about it.
Considerations.
That's it, sir. That is it. And so that's why it's so important to get them on the phone with us so that we can overcome those issues up front. And then when they get the information, then they're actually going to be in a point to consume it. When we send them the video, they're going to look at this and they're going to say, I've already seen that. How many times do you flip through the channels on TV or on YouTube? After 7 seconds of looking at something, you've made a determination if you're going to watch it or not.
Yep.
You have no idea what was in that show. You have no idea what you're passing up on. You just, no, next. We're no different when we show up with a little video clip for them to take a look at.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, cool. Excellent.
Sure.
Wonderful questions. Wonderful questions. I appreciate you guys jumping on so quick after jumping on into the business. All right, folks, let me see here. We had something else clip in. Yes, good. I'm glad you put that because I was just getting ready to say that to wrap it up. You cannot do this business, my friend. Okay, who can and cannot do this business? So if you've got somebody that is not a U.S. citizen, don't worry. There's 62 other countries that they can choose from. So if they're in one of those countries, then that's the easy path. And if they're not in one of those countries, get with me and let me know where they're at. And we might know something about some new countries that are going to be opening soon that might be able to help them out on. So there's usually some ways around getting around that. Other thing is 2 big, huge things coming up soon from event perspective. If you're in the Houston market, we're going to have our regional training on Saturday, May 19th. And we've got special guest, Blue Diamond, the guy that overrides Australia and a big portion of Canada. Mr. Brad Parkhill is going to be in the Houston market helping us with the training, and we are super excited to have him in. This guy is an absolute giver. He just got back from the mission trip in Mexico with Karen and a couple of others, and he's an absolute rock star. He knows this business. He's been around from the very beginnings of this team. He is going to be awesome. So make sure that you have got your tickets. If you're not sure where to find that, Miss Sarah posted that here just a second ago on the chat session. And yes, very good chance of us selling this one out because of the size that we have. So make sure you get that. May 19th, it's Saturday only. It's going to be all day from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And make sure you pack a lunch. We're not breaking for lunch. So bring a couple sunrises and bring a sandwich, and you'll be good to go. Don't worry. It's going to be a jam-packed. It's going to be some great, amazing information. We're looking forward to getting everybody together. The other thing that I really want to mention, and I really want to get across to everybody, is homecoming. Team Fusion Homecoming is coming up. We're about 2 months out, and that is without a doubt something that you want to be at. Now, I know a lot of people are going to have different things coming up with it being summertime. You're going to have people graduating, and I get it. And I'll be straight up honest. If my kid is graduating from high school, I'm not missing graduation to make it to the event. I get that, okay? But just about anything else that I can think of, folks, I want you to make sure you get it in your head that you need to be there. And here's why. When you go to these events, what it's going to do is it's going to get your belief level to a point where there's nothing that anybody can say that will mess with you, okay? You become unmessable with, all right? Leaders are born at events. You will, I guarantee you, talk to anybody that is a ruby or above, possibly even a sapphire above, that will tell you that an event did not change their life. They change your life. They let you see that you're in the right place for this thing. Y'all might say, well, Casey, I already know that. Not to the level that you will know it after you get done with the event. When you finish up with the event, and I make this promise to everybody, and I'll make it to everybody on Power Hour right now, and anybody that's watching the recording. If you go to Team Fusion Homecoming, and when you get done, you don't feel that you got your money's worth and it wasn't worth your trip, you come up to me and you say, Casey, it wasn't worth it. And I will give you $100 bill right then and there. Walk up to me, tell me that. We're going to have a conversation. I'm not just going to be handing out $100 bills. You got to talk to me. But when we get done with that, if you feel that I didn't get my money's worth, I will hand you $100 right then and there on the spot. Okay? So there will be questions asked. This isn't a no questions asked thing. There will be questions asked. But when we're done with that and you say, nope, I didn't get it, here's $100. I'm not paying for your flight and I'm not paying for your hotel, but I will pay for your ticket. All right. You'll have a good time there, I promise. Most importantly, when you get done with this event, and this is coming from a guy that's been doing this for close to a decade and that's on 2 magazine covers. I promise you, when you get done with the major events, your business will go to a whole nother level. Now that's based upon how much you work, but I promise you, you will move up. I promise you, you will gain knowledge. I promise you, you will gain confidence. You will gain belief, and you will see what this thing can truly do. So get yourself registered for the event. People say, Casey, I can't afford it. You can't afford, and this is a cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway, you can't afford not to go, okay? You joined this business for a reason. You've got your why nailed down. It's the first thing you do. You got to figure out what it is on why you said yes to this business. You got to figure out, have I reached that goal yet? If you haven't, I'm telling you, as a veteran in this thing, please, please, please get your ticket and go, because it is going to help you achieve your goal. It will absolutely help you move in that direction. So when people say, I can't afford it, look, figure it out. Go on a bus. Stay with a lot of people. Share a room. Sleep in the bathtub. There are amazing stories of David Nieves, who's earned $2 million+ in this organization over the last 4 years, on him sleeping in the bathtub with there being 15 people in the room when they went to one of their first events. That's where leaders are made, folks. Now, I'm not saying you got to go and sleep in the bathtub to be a leader. I'm just saying get yourself to the event. That's where the leaders are made, is at the event. So with that said, make it happen. Make it happen, all right? And get your ticket. Get your flight. Get your room. And make it. If you don't know how to do that, if you're struggling on the money side and you need some ideas on how to be able to do that, maybe it's a blind spot that you can't figure it out, get with us. Reach out to me, reach out to Miss Sarah, reach out to any of the leaders, and we will help you find a way to be able to get there. We do it all the time, okay? All right, so make sure you get your ticket to May 19th. Make sure if you're brand new in the organization that you got your ticket to Orlando. It's the cheapest you'll ever get it. And make sure you got your ticket to Homecoming. And with that, folks, we went over a little bit. Sorry we were late to start off, but appreciate everybody being here. And we will see you on Thursday night for the next Power Hour. Y'all have a great night. I'm going to unmute the line so y'all can say good night, and we will see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thanks,
Thank
Casey.
you.
Everyone.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night, John boy.
There it is. I know I was going to get it tonight.
Good night, y'all.
Hey, Sherry, if you have a minute, call me.
Okay.
Good night.
Night.